Hello, everyone. As Aprita introduced me, I'm Damanjit Singh. I'm working here in Wolfram Research as a kernel developer in the cloud team. Um, it's been 3 years with this team for me, and it's been a really wonderful and learning experience. Today, in the presentation, I'll be presenting you some of the basics of the Wolfram Cloud, and basically I'm hoping that at the end of this presentation, you will have some tools to uh, that are handy to build applications with the Wolfram Cloud. Um, you can create simpler applications, starting from simpler applications to complex applications, hopefully. Um, right. So let's start. We'll basically go through the basics of cloud, Wolfram Cloud, and some of the functions which Wolfram language functions which you can use to deploy something on the cloud and read files from the cloud and many more functionalities you will learn. Okay, uh, so let's start with the basics of Wolfram Cloud. Uh, you know Wolfram Cloud is basically helps you to create your own applications. It's something you evaluate as similar to some other as you heard about cloud terminology. It's something you evaluate on other people's computers. So same concept apply here. So you write a code, and when you evaluate your code, it gets evaluated on the cloud itself, using the server's computation and not on your local machine. um, Other than this, I think in the basics we'll also cover going forward the cloud objects. Just to give you an idea, in Wolfram Cloud, we store uh, all the data and files in terms of cloud objects. So, for example, when you go to the Wolfram Cloud and create a new file or a notebook, it will be stored as a cloud object. Uh, you can think of cloud object as a file, basically, but which has a special metadata which will go through, which tells you basically what type of this file is, and uh, and then who created it and when it will be expired and all that stuff. Then I think we have then later in the presentation we'll discuss the evaluation environments. It's a bit advanced topic, but it's good to understand. You know, if you are evaluating something on the cloud, you could, basically three evaluation environments where you can evaluate your code. We'll discuss that, and then basically towards the end we'll discuss HTTP request and responses with APIs. This is quite significant in terms of understanding Wolfram Cloud, because uh, everything, reading anything from Wolfram Cloud or writing anything to Wolfram Cloud happens in terms of HTTP protocol. So we'll discuss what Wolfram language functions we have to send HTTP request and read responses from the cloud. So this is some of the basics we'll go through. Uh, let's see what we have. So, okay, so this is just the basic mechanism, what Wolfram Cloud is actually is. So it has several components. The Wolfram Cloud, one is the server infrastructure, which is basically when you create a file, it gets stored and everything happens on the server side and not on your local machine. So that's basically what we meant by the server infrastructure. It provides us the storage in terms of database, and then the file system, and then everything. Then the another component we have is the Wolfram engine. Wolfram engine is basically the kernel which basically computes your evaluations. For example, if you evaluate 21 factorial on your cloud notebook, the result will be computed in the Wolfram engine, and it will be returned to your cloud notebook eventually. Then we have the load balancing. Load balancing in cloud you can think of as, there are lots of users, which basically evaluate something on the Wolfram Cloud, creates new notebooks. So the load balancer basically takes care of, sending users to the available nodes or available computers in the server side. So it detects like this which node is available right now for a request, and then it sends the user to that node, so that user don't have to wait for a response or something like that. And then finally we have the storage, where you store your files or cloud objects. um, and we also have the user interface like cloud notebooks, where you evaluate your you know um, the computations and everything. So let me, before going forward, let me just I hope everyone might have the cloud account, and they have seen how everything looks on the cloud. So just to give you a brief overview, you can go to wolframcloud.com, and basically it will, because I'm already signed in, it will give you a sign in page where you can use your basic account or the account which you have created. I hope everybody have the account, but if anybody doesn't have the account, they can go there and create a new account. uh, I think they can even use any domain, like if they don't have wolfram.com, you can use the Gmail or any other email um, to create an account. So once you create an account and you sign in, you will see this UI, a beautiful UI, where you will see that you have the files and notebooks. So you can go on clicking a new notebook, and it will open a new notebook, and then you can evaluate anything from any small computation to large computation. So this is the just general overview, like how you create a new notebook. And then, so basically right now you can give any name, and then it will be saved as demo notebook here. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so these are the basic things which we have in the cloud. But in order to create an application, you need few things from your side. Like for example, if I would like to create a cloud application, I need a core application code which will be computed, which will be evaluated on the cloud. For example, if I want to create a small application of counting basically um, all the factorials, or all these strings with length 4 in the using certain characters. So all these things require an algorithm and your core code. So you will I will show you how you deploy your core code on the cloud when we discuss the cloud deploy, cloud put, all that functions. But 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 just to give you just an idea, in order to have your application, you need a core code. And then another thing which you need is to a deploy mechanism, basically, which you can use to deploy your code. So we'll have the functions available with us, which we'll discuss shortly, how you use that to deploy your code. So when we discuss all these things, then you have all the tools necessary to create an application and deploy it to the cloud. Okay, let's move forward. So this is here we are basically talking about going more basic, like what actually cloud application is. I think it's not different from any other software application, where you have uh, your main core logic, which takes an input and then returns an output. So similarly, a cloud application in Wolfram Cloud is similar to a general application, which is basically a program which takes a certain input. Let's say you deploy a simple application of creating a factorial, and the input here is the number or integer which you want to compute a factorial of, and then your core logic which computes the result, and then the output which basically is returned to the user. And then the application also consists of storage data. Basically, if you want a more complex application where you want to store files or more cloud objects, then that can also be a part of an application of your cloud. Okay, so here we're talking about a core function, which I think I just explained, the core function is basically your algorithm of an application, which takes an input and then process over it. Um, and yeah, the architecture of your application can be it can be very simple, basically taking an input and compute something on it. And your application can be very complex also, which basically has many components, and all the components interact with, let's say, each other, and then store something on the database. So we can have all sort of applications which we can use to deploy on the cloud.